like I talk it. Walk it like I talk it. Walk it like I talk it. Walk it like I talk it.
What's good, gang? I hope you're all great and had a wonderful week. Thank you for being back here with me on Jade Hope TV. Guys, I am tired. I am so tired. But you know I wasn't going to let it stop me from spending time with the gang. With the gangs. I wasn't going to let it stop me. I'm not going to lie. I did think about doing the video from my bed. But here I am, guys. Here I am. So I look a bit different today because I had to pull the specs out. Because every week I was looking and I was squinting. And I was like, Jade, why are you squinting? Hence the specs, guys. All right? So today, guys, I got a juicy story for you. This is another juicy one. It feels like we've been talking a lot about God and angels, but this is another one of those stories. We're talking about when Jacob wrestled with God. Now, some people say it was an angel. Some people say it was God. But I want to know what you guys think. You already know how we do it over here, guys. What do you think? Put it in the comments. I want to know. Let's talk about it. Let's learn from each other. And gang, you already know what time it is. Let's get into it. Today's reading comes from Genesis 32, 1 to 32. Now, from about 1 to 22 is going to be a bit of background. And then from 22 to 32 is the juicy bit. Well, I shouldn't say it's juicy bit, but it's the juicy bit, guys. All right? You know, we're reading from the ESV, the English Standard Version. But you know what I say. Whatever version you like, do you. Read from that. I just particularly like the ESV. Reading from verse 1. Jacob went on his way and the angels of God met him. And when Jacob saw them, he said, "This is God's camp." So he called the name of that place Mahanaim. And Jacob sent messengers before him to Esau, his brother, in the land of Seir and the country of Edom, instructing them, "Thus you shall say to my lord Esau, thus says your servant Jacob, I have sojourned with Laban and stayed until now. I have oxen, donkeys, flocks, male servants and female servants. I have sent to tell my lord in order that I may find favor in your sight." And the messengers returned to Jacob saying, "We came to your brother Esau and he is coming to meet you. And there are 400 men with him." Then Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed. He divided the people who were with him and the flocks and herds and camels into 2 camps, thinking, if Esau comes to one camp and attacks it, then the camp that is left will escape. All right, guys, let's drop a pin. Basically, Esau and Jacob are twin brothers, and Jacob stole or cheated Esau. It's still sticky because some people will say he was just smart. He was just maybe an opportunist. I don't know. We're going to have to talk about Jacob and see what you lot think. Like in another video about his personality, we're going to really dive deep into it so you lot can decide, was he a trickster? Was he scamming Esau? Like we're gonna talk about that later. But long story short, he felt like he robbed Esau of his birthright. And so he knew that Esau wanted to kill him. He actually fled from Esau years ago, and that was the last time he saw Esau, when he'd stolen the birthright and he'd fled. And so now God had told him to return back to his people then, and Jacob was trying to kind of like get on the good side of Esau by sending messengers ahead of him with gifts and trying to see if Esau was going to kill him or what was going on. So when the messengers came back and said, he's got 400 men with him, Jacob was shook because he was just thinking like, he's going to kill me. Like, that's why he's got so many men with him. You know what I'm saying? All right. So we're picking up from verse 9. And Jacob said, "O God of my father Abraham and God of my father Isaac, O Lord, who said to me, return to your country and to your kindred, that I may do you good. I am not worthy of the least of all the deeds of steadfast love and all the faithfulness that you have shown to your servant. For with only my staff I crossed this Jordan, and now I have become 2 camps." All right, so basically, Jacob is smart, because you know what he said? He's basically reminding God, and God actually says, remind me of my word. And so it's not that God forgot it, it's just that God says, remind me of my word. So Jacob is literally reminding him, like,
you know, you're the father of my father Isaac, you know, Abraham, you know, I'm your servant, Lord. Like, you told me to go back to my country.
like he's slipping it in there. You told me. So like, help, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, he's been humble, saying, I'm not worthy of you even really listening to this prayer, because I came with nothing. That's why he said I only had a staff, because he left with only a staff, and now he has 2 camps. So it means now he has wealth. Now he has family, he has children, wives, wealth. So God has blessed him, and he's understanding of that, right? Picking up at verse 11. Please deliver me from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau, for I fear him, that he may come and attack me, the mothers with the children. But you said, I will surely do you good, and make your offspring as the sand of the sea, which cannot be numbered for multitude. So, like I said, he's reminding God of what he said. Like, Lord, you said you was going to make me have so many kids and so much offspring that it would be like the sand.
So if I die, it's not going to happen. Like, hello, like, remember that? Remember when you said that, Lord?
And that's what he's saying to God. And he's telling God too, like, I'm afraid. I think he's going to kill me. He's going to kill the kids. He's going to kill my wives. He's just letting God know how he feels. Verse 13. So he stayed there that night, and from what he had with him, he took a present for his brother Esau, 200 female goats and 20 male goats, 200 ewes and 20 rams, 30 milking camels and their calves, 40 cows and 10 bulls, 20 female donkeys and 10 male donkeys. These he handed over to his servants, every drove by itself, and said to his servants, pass on ahead of me and put a space between drove and drove. He instructed the first, when Esau my brother meets you and asks you, to whom do you belong? Where are you going? And whose are these ahead of you? Then you shall say, they belong to your servant Jacob. They are a present sent to my lord Esau, and moreover, he is behind us. He's sending gifts to servants to go ahead of him to present to his brother Esau, in hopes of softening the blow, in hopes of getting on his good side, in hopes of not...
In hopes of Esau not basically finishing him, you know what I'm saying?
He likewise instructed the second and the third and all who followed the droves. You shall say the same thing to Esau when you find him. And you shall say, moreover, your servant Jacob is behind us. For he thought, I may appease him with the present that goes ahead of me, and afterward I shall see his face. Perhaps he will accept me. So the present passed on ahead of him, and he himself stayed the night in the camp. Yeah, guys, so he's just basically sending gifts upon gifts upon gifts to his brother to try to make peace before his brother actually meets him. So now we're at verse 22. The same night he arose and took his 2 wives, his 2 female servants, and his 11 children, and crossed the ford of Jabbok. He took them and sent them across the stream, and everything else that he had. Now we're at...
The juicy bits.
Okay, guys, I shouldn't say that. The whole of the Bible is juicy, but, you know, who's in a movie, who's at the...
Dun, dun, dun.
part, you understand? So we're picking up at verse 24. And Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him until the breaking of the day. When the man saw that he did not prevail against Jacob, he touched his hip socket, and Jacob's hip was put out of joint as he wrestled with him. Then he said, let me go, for the day has broken. But Jacob said, I will not let you go unless you bless me. And he said to him, what is your name? And he said, Jacob. Then he said, your name shall no longer be Jacob, but Israel, for you have striven with God and with men, and have prevailed. Then Jacob asked him, please tell me your name. But he said, why is it that you ask my name? And there he blessed him.
Guys!
Hey guys. Guys! guys, like, he's wrestling with God. Like, he's wrestling with God all night. And then God is like, let me go. It's daylight now. And Jacob said, I'm not going to let you go unless you bless me. How many of us need to listen to that? Like, we need to hold on to God so tight and tell him, we're not going to let you go, Lord, unless you bless me. Like, it's brilliant.
I'm going to try it. I'm gonna actually try it.
You guys try it and let me know in the comments, like, does it work for you? Because it works for Jacob. Jacob, his personality, I think this definitely goes to show, like, who Jacob is. Like, he doesn't take no for an answer. He, like I said, some people said he's tricky. We're going to get into that in another video. But bottom line is he doesn't take no for an answer. And he uses his brain. You know what I'm saying? Like, we might call it, he might be working brain, but you know you can't work brain on God. But he said to God, I'm not going to let you go unless you bless me. And what I love is that God even played with him. Like, we know that Jacob didn't prevail. Like, it says prevail, but for me, that's a bit of a techie text, because prevail makes it sound like he beat God. Impossible. You know what I'm saying? You know it's impossible. Well, if you've got any common sense, you know it's impossible. But even from the part that says that God just touched his hip socket and it was over, like, what human being touches your hip socket and it's out of joint? Like, it doesn't happen. So God didn't have to be wrestling with him. God chose to wrestle with him. You know what I'm saying? Just imagine, guys, like, you're by yourself at a camp and someone comes to wrestle you, but you know it's God because you can just tell. Because you're not going to say, think about it, if you're wrestling with somebody, yeah, you're not going to tell them, I'm not letting you go unless you bless me. What? You're too busy getting it in. Like, you're not even thinking about them blessing you. You know what I'm saying? So he knew it was God because of what he said. I'm not going to let you go unless you bless me. That's beautiful. You know what I'm saying? And then he wanted to know his name. Like, he was just so intrigued. The thing is, you know, when you was growing up, or you have like older people, maybe your dad, maybe your uncle, maybe even your sister, your aunties. I don't know how many of you had those kind of aunties. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have that. I'm talking about, I had like uncles and stuff like that, right? Older brothers, stuff like that, who they'll be fighting with you and you're little, like, you're like, and they could just hold your head, like, you're not pressing them. But they make you think that you're, you know what I'm saying, they're doing something. But if they was to really punch you, you'd be finished, you know? And so you're just doing your little fight and stuff like that. And that's how I kind of envision it. Like, God is just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's just like, I don't want to say entertaining in the moment, but he's playing with his son, like, low-key. But he's teaching his son something at the same time. That's how I saw it. I don't know what you guys think, because all of us have been through things that we've gone through a journey and we've wondered, why am I going through this journey? And at the end of the journey, we've been like, oh, I get why. And some of us have even been through things that we still don't understand why. Because maybe when the time isn't to know yet, maybe we're going to see the fruits of it later on in life, or maybe we'll never know. Maybe it's something that built character in us that we didn't know or will never understand, you know? But I believe that story, God was building something in Jacob that we might never know, but we can discuss it. We don't know. We know that he was there. We know that he was wrestling with God. We know that he was afraid of his brother. God could have had that moment with Jacob for many reasons to show Jacob what he really had inside him. God could have just did it so that Jacob got blessed, because Jacob ended up asking him to bless him. Like, we don't know what it is or why it happened, but we just know it's a beautiful, wonderful story that we can dive into deeper and we can learn so much from. 30. So Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, saying, for I have seen God face to face, and yet my life has been delivered. The sun arose, and he passed Peniel, limping because of his hip. Therefore, to this day, the people of Israel do not eat the sinew of the thigh that is on the hip socket, because he touched the socket of Jacob's hip on the sinew of the thigh. So what do you guys think? Isn't this an amazing, amazing story? It's an amazing account of another time when we get to see a bit about God's personality, a bit about who God is, just a bit about God's character, and it's beautiful. So I want to know what you guys think, and let me know in the comments. I love you guys. Let's remember to walk the narrow path together. I'll see you soon. Peace.
Walk it like I talk it. Walk it like I talk it. Walk it like I talk it. Walk it like I talk it.